insisting, in fact, to getting a title. I was just trying to think something that was non-academic, and so on the outside the academic legacy word, the first word that came to me was un giro infernale, these hellish circle from the Divine Comedy. And I thought that I want to talk about the legacy, especially on the Italian community and my own academic community and friends. And there's a little bit, of course, you're part of your journey in Italy that is so important. You've certainly been in Italy before. We met in 1995, but for me, our journey in Italy started here at the Bellagio Rockefeller Residency when Les and Andy Dobson went there for a month to write a book in ecology. And I want to tell you something about that. I mean, this is actually a real piece of paradise, a beautiful place. And nowadays, we are all get used that any American hotspot, in a foreign territory is heavily guarded for good reason of security. But back then in 1995 in Italy, that was not the case. And the Rockefeller Villa there, was way out of mind. They had laser, they had cam, they had electrified fences, and there were guarded as Fort Knox here. And for the generation of people who grew up at that time in Italy, a little bit in the province, of the fringe, the more civilized United Kingdom, that for us, and growing up watching the movie of Sean Connery and Roger Moore of 007, we knew that this was a spy center. Yeah. And of course, if you know Les, it's implausible, but I was certain that Les was an agent undercover. So I was looking at these guys suspiciously when I met him the first time through Andy Dobson and trying to get some clues about what he was really doing there. That my suspicions grew larger, as soon as I learned that visitors were not allowed inside the villa. So, there was something mystery going on there, and they could get out only during the weekend. And during the weekend, they were engaged in some mission impossible. I couldn't do that. Then, getting to know Les during those weekends, we went to Val d'Intervi to take a nice, hiking trip in the woods, cracking the snow that fell just a few days before, and we finally conquered his heart, or at least his stomach and appetite, with the homemade polenta at Marino's Gatto's house there, and the studio. And then we split apart for about 10 years, and we met again in another enchanted place in Castello di Miramare in Trieste, where there is the International Center for Theoretical Physics. There was a meeting on disease ecology. There you can see some picture with, there are two pictures with Brian and Grenfell. There is David Smith here that is looking out of your shoulder. I remember, one picture I liked a lot is this picture here in the corner, because it shows you, I've seen you so many times in the following years, sitting down, with young ecologists, helping them to understand the patterns to three, basically, and blossoming their career. So a really, really nice picture. At that time, Luca Bolzoni was a graduate student in my lab, and myself were working on problems of virulence evolutions and the effect of culling manipulation. You had interest in molecular ecology, you got, we were trying to do some work together in that area. We never succeeded actually to get the samples that we needed from the veterinary system in Italy. But that was a great opportunity to start to talk about the problem of heterogeneity in transmission. So 6 months later, during the summer, we found in my hometown in Mozzo, and sitting under the porch of my house there, with Luca Bolzoni, and thinking then a paper, there is this paper, Transition Heterogeneity and Control Strategy for Infectious Disease Emergence. There was a foundation then for a series of other papers that I made with Luca Bolzoni on aspects related to control heterogeneities. We have a paper that we haven't finished yet, when goods control does bad, the unexpected consequences of disease control due to complex ecological interaction. TBAs is not a theoretical biologist to be determined yet, so we'll get to finish, and hopefully we will do so. A year later, I invite you at University of Parma to give a talk. I become the chair of the doctorate program in ecology in Parma, and so Les was invited to be a co-advisor of lookable theory thesis, and I also appointed you as a foreign members of the PhD committee, for that stretch of time, and it was the beginning of another fantastic journey from the academic point of view. You live as there with free key contribution in areas and foundation in ecology. You already talked about that, but I mean, like we are, I grew up in Italy in a Catholic country, so I call this as the Bible of ecology, Old Testament, basically understanding our foundation. There are other papers, like this has not been cited yet today, that you and Roman Bick did in 2010, that was also very inspirational for many of us. You've been scientific advisor for a lot of students here, and I just added here, with peace, love, and coolness, because that was the case, but I also want to add that, you are a very sharp, strategic person. You are actually quite a badass when you with the question of career development. And you actually helped me, in fact, to navigate, for instance, some of the negotiation process that eventually, brought me, in Stanford in California. Thank you very much. I know that, I owe you the, possibility of reconciling, with my family there. So very, very important. And in fact, with many of our students in Italy, you have provided a lot of great advices. There are also aspects that are not the direct influence that you had on me, but indirectly, by mentoring scientists in their early career, we then had a great influence in who I am now and what I do today. The first one is the most important for me, of course, is the love of my life, is Fiorenza Micheli, is the mothers of these two beautiful children. And I was mentioning before, you were actually sitting in the committee when Fiorenza was taking her PhD at Chapel Hill, and so you had, I know for a fact that you had a great influence in the way she developed, her career and, her program there. A second person that you happen to mentor through one of the early career grant of the NIH is Sana Sokolov, who then I recruited at Stanford University. We together started this project on the biological control of schistosomiasis. In Senegal, we have a new beautiful video, by the way, from Biographics produced by the California Academy of Science that tell in 10 minutes all the story, and I'll be glad to talk about that later. And again, you have a very important influence in basically leading us into this direction. And there is a third person that I like to mention, who's gonna be here this afternoon, at least he's in the program, I don't see him yet, who is Matthew Bond, a really good friend of yours, and you've been knowing way before, we started to interact all together. And Matthew Bond, with my idea of the disease-driven poverty trap and the theory he had developed with Pejorani here in Georgia, then had a very important role in shaping this program for disease ecology, health and the environment that a couple of years ago I launched at Stanford University, of which also I'll be glad to talk more about that. And this is mostly, about the academic legacy. There's, of course, much more to be said, but there is the other aspect that I think is very important, that you always remind us, and me in particular, to find a healthy work-life balance. And I think this is another very important legacy that I, wanted to mention. It's not only about doing something else outside science, but also find unconventional places where we can talk and get inspired just getting around. So I created the terms road ecology because we had so many meetings, driving and cruising in, through Italy. This is a snapshot for a meeting organized by Peter Hudson and Anna Paola Rizzoli, Isabella Cattadori in Trento. There were 2 decades in which we organized those amazing meeting there without Biostar, and that was one of our trips that we took. We went to Venice in 2006. This is when Fiorenza started to become jealous because I was going to Venice with you. I went to watch the Aida. They says, what about me? And so we were cultivating, your interest for photography, particular perspective, not the usual one, always, finding something different. The Aida in Verona in 2006, in Trovatore, at the Teatro Regio in Parma, the same theater where Giuseppe Verdi, was conducting. And of course, was a lot of interest in Italian experience. Roman was talking about, making pasta and doing the tortellini was a very important thing. And you know how Les does things. He doesn't take picture. He make a photographic book, right? And he doesn't do some work with wood in the workshop. He built a beautiful boat. And so here you can see within an evening the same phase. First he's observed Paolo Menozzi starting to prepare, and then he put himself an opera. And here you see Les isn't changed, at all. And if you're wondering, this is me 10 years ago. Yeah, changed a lot. And then he get into the scaling up, right? I mean, just doing a zillion of tortellini there, and after a few hours we had to drag him out for the kitchen in order, to then finally enjoy after the frenzy part, the meal with the friend there. These are pictures about a really nice trip. We talked with Nicola De Leo. We took with Nicola De Leo, roughly in the same period. I disagree with you, Roman, on the fact that it's not true that for Les, good food is just a way to get into community. He does like good food. Plain, and if community comes, that's fine. It's just an added, aspect there. You also develop all your own relationship, in fact, with the Italians. And I was talking with Andrea Piotti recently. He kindly sent me a bunch of beautiful pictures, amazing. These are all in black and white that he took with Daniele Longhi and Les. You see Les here, taking picture in a trip they got in 2008 in Comacchio and Lidi Ferraresi, and this is again Les taking picture of the padelloni where they catch the 5 fish there on the Comacchio Lagoon, and here is still, Les on the beach there. One of the other things that, of course, I think everybody of you knows, and I find super cute, I particularly attached, is few of the less found Italian words. So he had this book. Okay, there is zillions of them. I just made a short selection, but he had this book. He was taking note about everything, and it's interesting. And of course, in Girone Infernale, we already talked about that. And the other things is that the Lasciatevi Speranza voi che entrate, right? It was so important that you stick that on your lab. But if you read it, I mean, this is a beautiful piece, and if you read, so this is the original Italian per me si va nella città dolente, per me si va nell'eterno dolore. You read it, this is actually, it's quite strong, and John, I wonder how you let him hang in the things. I was saying, students have rights, they wouldn't allow us to.
There's a misspelling. I never had the courage to tell it.
I know. But anyway, so you managed to keep it, and it's still on, right? I mean, this is the picture.
Oh yeah.
Leo gave me yesterday, exactly. Because Luca Bolzoni told me about that, and I was looking for this picture, and yesterday he was talking about that, and I said, give me the picture. And I put it on. A third thing, there's only the third one, which I think is very interesting, is La Calunnia un Venticello, which is an aria of the Barber of Seville, which is really beautiful. I remember you love it, you like it and sing it. This one. I didn't, bring the English version here, but it's interesting when we talk about the Barbiere di Siviglia. We all think about the famous cavatina, figure right, and which is what me as a common person here. But if you look at La Calunnia un Venticello, it's really a piece of poetry, and you actually point my attention to that, and it just show you your curiosity and ability to find beauty in aspect where most of us sometimes just fly over and don't pay too much of attention. So that was really nice. Moving into the conclusion, thinking about how many people when you were in Italy you've been able to touch. With your gentleness and your insight and, in a different way. So I wanted to pay a tribute to Les for, Leria's Italian Fan Club. There are a couple of honorary members that, are agent here. And so talking about Il Bolgi Infernale, let me see whether I'm able to, oh, I forgot exactly here. Let me see. So I asked my friend, would you get, a message for, for Les, and I got too many. I was thinking to stitch them together, but there are too many. So I'm going to present only 3 of them because I think they're very nice and they're worth mentioning. So we start with the Bonjour Ferrari. We're making this one.
Hi from Parma. We wish we were with you, but we are in spirit. Come visit us. We know you won't have any time though. You're so creative. You'll be busy all the time. Bye.
That was very cute.
Hi.
Another very cute is this one, which see.
Hi Leslie, actually we never met. I'm Giulio, former PhD student, and he taught me so much about you. And so I just wish you congratulations for your retirement and happy retirement.
Yeah, so this was in Edinburgh a few days ago. I was talking about that and says, I don't know him personally, but it's like I know him because so I want to leave a message for him. And the last one, I haven't seen it yet myself because it was sent me, literally 15 minutes ago. And because I was talking about that also, and I'll just show you, it's the ghost is coming back here. So let me show you, and let's listen what he has to say.
Hey, Les. I'm here today, but I know you guys are having a great time, and I wish I was there with you. All best wishes for your retirement. Maybe we've got time to sit and write that book now.
So in conclusion, there are a few things I want to say. Well, first of all, happy retirement. I mean, you deserve it all, and you prepare everything. It's going to be a great fun. We know for a fact, it's probably not you, certainly not you, from the literature, that retirement is a big transition, and it's a transition into a new phase of life, and it requires some adaptation. These adaptations sometimes, might be potentially stressful, and sometimes we might find ourselves just looking at sailing in the middle of the night, and so on and so forth. So the suggestion is just to keep busy, and there's easy way to do that. Just add your monetary trips you've seen. You get all these friends. I'll send you the video because they're really cute and beautiful, 10-15 seconds each, and they invite you to come along and to go back and visit them. So that's really nice. The all Italian trips. I think I'm just two. We have two fishing boats of my Italian ancestors a century ago coming to the Monterey Bay. They are kind of falling apart. You've seen them already. Just come along. It's a year-time job. It's long. We're gonna be fixing that. And the third one, it's a little gift with just a premise. So in our road ecology and Italian trips there, we literally went from Trieste to Venice to Bologna to we were in the car all the time, going to place. And I remember once I was talking with great enthusiasm about virulence, evolutions, and kind and other stuff, and I was so incredibly passionate. And for a combination, I don't know what I saw you kind of fading apart, and then falling asleep and just taking a power nap, and after some time waking up refreshed and doing much better. And I realized that like a snake charmer, with my fluted voice, I had a quite powerful effect on Les. Just getting to sleep right away. So what I want to mention, I don't think it's you. It's not going to happen. But if you feel that you're stressed out and you wake up in the middle of the night and just looking at the sailing, so I prepared something for you. I recorded a scientific talk of mine on this. This is Italian, so it's very powerful, but I guarantee you're gonna sleep like a baby. The last picture here.
Those are great talks, and there is a charge to the graduate students. One, you have to find the spelling error in lasciate ogni speranza voi filtrate, and the second thing is remember that there are, the signage on that hallway is incomplete. Because there are different levels of hell. And they are guarded by specific demons, which I intended to have posted with room numbers for the different professors. So that is the charge. You must come up with a room directory based on the levels of hell, based on who your favorite professors might or might not be.